Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. And today in this video, we are going to discuss about some networking concepts. Okay. So if we discuss about like what are networking concepts or why do we require them? So consider like, okay, these are the fundamental building blocks. Okay. These are the very basics of your communication that are going to help you understand the entire networking. Okay. So we can say that your networking concepts, these are the fundamental building blocks that are going to form the basics of your communication and data exchange in the computer networks. Okay. So how the systems are communicating and the entire network communication process that can be understood with the help of these terms. Okay. Because in this particular video, we are going to discuss some terms related to the networking. Okay. So let's see what all the things we are going to discuss in this particular video, and then we'll move forward with one by one topic. Okay. All right. So in this particular video, we are going to discuss about networking. Okay. We'll see that what do you understand with networking, then what is a node, what is data transmission. Okay. Then we'll discuss about what are protocols, bandwidth, latency, topology, LAN, WAN, router, switch, gateway, firewall, IP address, DNS, and DHCP. Okay, so these are some very basic concepts of the networking that we are going to discuss today in this video. Okay, so I'll be getting you familiar with the basic terms, okay, all this terminology. And by the end of the video, you will be very familiar with all these terms. Okay. So let's start with the video and let's discuss about our first term, that is networking. Okay. So if we discuss about networking, your networking refers to the practice of connecting computers and other devices to share resources and information. Okay, so basically if we discuss like what is a network, so the network is the interconnection of two or more devices. Okay, and those devices, those can be computers, can be servers, can be other devices related to the networking. Okay, now networking is the practice, or you can say the procedure. As I say that network is what? Network is the interconnection of two or more devices. Okay, so networking is the process of connecting. Okay, the process of connecting or the practice of connecting computers and other devices. Now, why do we connect them? We connect them to share the resources and information, because we want to share information from one system to another system. Okay, we want to share some data from one system to another system. Okay, so that is the purpose we connect them, and the process of connecting all those devices together is known as networking. Okay, now your networking enables communication and data transfer between devices. Okay, networking is going to enable the communication, because if two devices, if they are able to communicate, or I can say if they are able to share some information or some data with each other, that means they are communicating with each other, right? So networking enables communication as well as data transfer between the devices. Okay, so this is the very basic of networking. Okay, now the next thing we'll discuss is about a node. That what is a node? Because see, node is a general term. Okay, like I was discussing that network is what? Network is interconnection of two or more than two networking devices, or two or more than two devices. But if I want to use a general term in there, I can use a node. Okay, because a node is a device that is connected to the network, and a node can be anything. It can be a computer, can be a server, can be a router, can be a switch or printer. Okay, so any device that is connected to a network can be a node. Okay, understood? So this is the basic idea behind your node. That node is what? Node is a device that is connected to a network, and the interconnection of two or more nodes is forming a network. Okay. Now, the next term we have with us is data transmission. Now, what is data transmission? So we have discussed that, okay, we have connected two or more than two nodes, okay, and we have formed a network. Now, the goal of network is what? We want to share some information. We want to share some data from one device to another device, correct? So your data transmission involves sending data from one device to another device over a network, okay? So like we have connected two devices over the network. So if those two devices, they want to share the data, so that sharing of data is known as data transmission. Okay. So the next term we have with us is protocols. Okay. So now we'll discuss about protocols. So if I discuss about protocols, those two devices, two nodes we have connected with each other, they want to communicate, they want to transmit data. Now, for the communication, they are going to need certain rules, okay? They are going to need certain protocols. So if we discuss about protocols, protocols are a set of rules and conventions that define how data should be formatted, transmitted, received, and interpreted in the network. Okay. So basically these protocols, these are defining that how your network devices are going to communicate with each other over a network. So in what way the data will be formatted, how the data will be transmitted, okay, how a receiving device is going to receive the data, how it is going to interpret or read the data. So all these things are defined with a certain set of rules, and those set of rules are known as protocols. Okay. Now, certain examples can be taken for the protocols like TCP, IP. Then we can take HTTP example, that is hypertext transfer protocol used for the web browsing. Then we have FTP protocol, that is file transfer protocol, that is used for transferring files. Okay. Then we have SMTP protocol, simple mail transfer protocol, that is used for transmitting or sending and receiving emails. Okay. So these are protocols. So the basic idea behind the protocol is just that it is a set of rules and conventions that is going to define how the data should be formatted, transmitted, received, and interpreted in a network. Or you can say how the networking devices will communicate with each other. Okay. Then the next term we have with us is bandwidth. Now, what is bandwidth? Now we have two devices, they are connected in a network, they want to transmit and share information with each other. Okay. Now we have the protocols also. Okay. Now there is something called as bandwidth. What is bandwidth? Bandwidth refers to the amount of data that can be transmitted over a network connection in a given time. Means in a particular point of time, how much amount of data can be transmitted over a network. Okay, so your bandwidth is often measured in the bits per second, kilobits per second, megabits per second, or gigabits per second. So kind of you can understand it is the maximum amount of data that can be transmitted over a network in a given point of time. Okay, so that is bandwidth, means how much data can be transmitted in a particular point of time. Okay, that is your bandwidth. Okay, now with bandwidth kind of understand, okay, like you can say like, okay, it's the speed, but actually it is the maximum amount. Okay, bandwidth is the maximum amount that can be transmitted over a network in a particular point of time. Okay, then next thing we have is the latency. Now what is latency? So latency is the time it takes for a data packet to travel from the source to destination. Okay, so kind of you can say like how much time it is taking for the data packet to travel from source to destination. That time duration is known as latency. And for an efficient communication, we require the latency to be low. Okay, lower the latency, higher the speed of communication. Okay, so let's say if you are using certain applications like you are playing online games or having video calls. So we want that the latency should be low. Okay, because these are something that is real-time applications. So in your real-time application, low latency is very important. Otherwise, there will be a delay in the information. Okay. So latency is what? Latency is the time taken by a data packet to travel from source to destination. Okay. That is known as latency. Then the next thing we have with us is topology. That what is a topology? So at topology, you can kind of understand the topology as a graphical representation of your network. Okay. So your topology is going to show you that how the network devices are connected to each other. Because, whenever we see the network devices like routers, switches, servers, so they are generally mounted in the racks. And just looking at the devices, we cannot know how they are connected to each other. And we cannot just go and follow along each and every single cable to see where it is connected. Okay, so to represent that particular arrangement of devices in a simple manner, okay, we have the topology. Okay. So if you want to understand the topology, network topology refers to the physical or logical arrangement of devices in a network. Okay, so your topology is going to show you how the network devices are connected to each other. And we have certain common types of topologies like star topology, bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology. Okay, so mainly currently we use the star topology in the LAN environments, and in the WAN environments, mostly mesh topology is being used. Okay, so topology is nothing but the graphical representation, or you can say is going to display how your network devices are connected to each other. Okay, so this is the arrangement of devices in a network. Clear? That is your topology. Now we'll discuss about LAN and WAN. That is common network types we have. Okay, so one is LAN and second is WAN. So your LAN stands for local area network. Okay, LAN stands for local area network. Now, a LAN is a network that covers a small geographical area. Okay, it is just going to cover small geographical area, typically within a building or campus. Okay, it doesn't cover a very large area. Okay, and Ethernet and Wi-Fi, these are the two common technologies that are used inside the LAN. Okay, so if you have a switch, okay, then and if you connect few devices to the switch, so that is basically forming a LAN only. Okay, and if you have a Wi-Fi router in your home and all your home devices, they are connected to the Wi-Fi, so that is also basically forming a local area network only. Okay, next is we have the other type, that is WAN. So WAN stands for wide area network. Okay, and as the name suggests, wide area network means it is going to cover a large geographical area. So WAN is basically collection of multiple LANs. Okay, you connect multiple LANs together and this forms a WAN, that is wide area network. So if you want to take a example of WAN, we can take your internet as a good example of global WAN. Okay, so these are the two common types, that is LAN and WAN. Okay, now the next thing we'll discuss is common network devices. Okay, now what are these common network devices? So some most common network devices we have like router, switch, gateway, firewall. Okay, so one by one we are going to see about these devices. So first of all, let's discuss about a router. So a router is a device that directs your data packets between network. Okay, for example, if you want to take an example, we can take an example like let's say your home connection, take it as an example. So in your home, there's a cable coming from outside, okay, from outside the home, and that is plugged into your router. Okay, then from your router, you might have connected a, you can say like you might have connected a switch. Okay, and then with that you will be connecting multiple devices, your nodes. Okay. So now why your router is responsible? Router is responsible for transmitting or forwarding your data packets from your local network, okay, from your home devices to the internet side. So it is responsible for transmitting or directing data packets between different networks. Okay. So that is one task of your router. And another task of your router is that it helps to determine the best path for data transmission. Okay. Means if you have to send some data, let's say if you want to access Google, so you know the entire world is connected. Okay. And it is forming like a spider web. Okay. Means nodes are connected to multiple nodes, and there can be hundreds of ways by which you can reach Google. Okay. But always your data will take the shortest path. Okay. It will always take the best path. Why? Because your router will calculate the best path. Okay. So your router is responsible for finding the best physical path for data transmission. Okay. So it helps to determine the best path for data to reach its destination. Okay. So the task of router, we said, okay, it is going to direct the packet between different networks, as well as it is going to find the best physical path for data transmission. Then we have a switch. So if we discuss about a switch is a device that connect multiple devices within a local network. Okay. So your switch is going to connect multiple devices into the same network. Okay. So basically you can say a switch is used to create a LAN network. Okay. A LAN environment. Okay. So we can say a switch is a device that connect multiple devices within a local network, as well as it operates at the data link layer and forward data only to the device that needs it. Okay. So your switch works at layer 2. Okay. The layer 2 of your OSI model is the data link layer. So switch works at layer 2 and your router works at layer 3. Okay. Your router forwards data packets. Okay. It makes the forwarding decision based on the IP address. Okay. Router will check the destination IP address, while your switch will check the destination MAC address. Okay. So the switch makes the forwarding decision based on the MAC address. Okay. So both your router and switch, these are the intelligent devices, so they can make decisions to forward the data. Okay. Then the next device is gateway. So a gateway is again a device that connects two different networks using different protocols. Okay. So your gateway is going to act as a translator to facilitate communication between the networks. So if you have two different types of networks, then we need a gateway. Okay. It's like in your computers also, whenever you want to access the internet, then you have to give the gateway IP. Okay. You have to give the gateway IP, and with the gateway IP only your computer is able to connect to the internet. Okay. So gateway is responsible for providing communication between two networks, different networks. Okay. Now let's say we have a network. In the network we have connected our nodes. Okay. Means multiple systems we have connected to the switch, and the switch we have connected to the router. So we have a router, then we have a switch, and then we have all our nodes. All the devices are there. Now we need to provide security to this network. Okay. So to provide security, we need a special device. That special device is known as a firewall. So a firewall is a security device or software that is going to filter and control incoming and outgoing network traffic. Okay. And it is going to filter out this traffic based on certain predefined security rules. Okay. Whatever the rules we configure in the firewall, based on that, the firewall will allow or deny the traffic. Okay. Means in the firewall rules, you will define that what kind of traffic you want to allow and what kind of traffic you do not want to allow. Okay. So based on your defined rules, the firewall will take up the action, and it is going to regularly monitor all the incoming and outgoing traffic. Okay. So this is a basic introduction to all your network devices like router, switch, gateway, and firewall. Okay. Now, the next thing we have is the IP address. What is an IP address? Now, if you have connected multiple devices in a network, okay, so all those devices, how they will communicate, how they will come to know that which device wants to communicate with the other device. Okay, means they need to have some sort of identity to communicate with each other. Okay, so IP address, this IP address is a unique numerical label assigned to each device connected to a network, and it is used to identify and locate devices on the network. Okay, so if you want to uniquely identify a device over a network, in that case, you are going to need the IP address. Okay, so you can say it is a unique 32-bit binary number. Basically, your IP address is a unique 32-bit binary number that is used to identify a device on a network. Okay, so it is basically the label with which we are going to identify a particular device in a network. Okay, then the next thing we have, another key term of the fundamental networking is DNS. Okay, DNS is also a very important term in the networking. So your DNS stands for domain name system. Okay, domain name system. So what DNS is going to do, DNS is going to translate the domain names into IP address. As we discussed in the last slide, whenever you want to identify a node or a device in a network, you need the IP address, right? So means any website you visit over the internet, each and every website is hosted on a particular IP address. Now, if you want to visit a website, you must remember the IP address, right? But as humans, we cannot remember a huge number of IP addresses. Okay, we are not really good with the numbers. We are good with the names. Okay, so we need something. Okay, same thing or same. If you want to relate it, then you can relate it with your contact book in your phone. Okay, that how many contact numbers we can remember. Okay, we cannot remember a huge number of contacts, but we can easily remember the names. Okay, so the same facility, the facility that is your contact book providing in your smartphones, the same facility is provided by DNS to us over the internet. Okay, so this DNS is going to help us type a website address, and it will automatically translate it into IP address and allow us for the communication. Okay, so your DNS is a system that translates human readable domain names into IP addresses. Okay, and it allows users to access websites using names instead of numerical addresses. So we don't have to type numbers, or we don't have to type IP addresses. We can directly access it using names. Okay, then the next term we have is the DHCP. Okay, DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Okay, so DHCP is a protocol that automatically assigns the IP addresses to the devices on a network. Okay, now let's say, for example, if you have 2 devices, 5 devices, 10 devices, so maybe you will assign the IP addresses manually to the systems. That is fine. But if we talk about organizations, there can be thousands of systems. Okay, there can be an organization with 3,000 systems. There can be an organization with 5,000 systems, 10,000 systems. So individually assigning a IP, okay, statically assigning a IP to each and every device in the network is not really possible. Okay, the configuration will become very complex. So the DHCP is the protocol that is going to help us in this case. Okay, how it is going to help us? Your DHCP protocol is automatically going to assign IP address to all the devices on a network, and then also it is going to keep a record that what IP has been assigned to which device. Okay, so we don't have to worry about like, okay, which system has what IP and whether IPs are repeating or we missed an IP. This kind of problems will not be there. Means human errors will be not there. Okay, will not be there. Okay, so your DHCP is going to help you automatically assign IP addresses to your devices on a network. Okay, so this was all the basic idea. Okay, we discussed all the key terms that are used in the networking. Okay, So I hope I was able to give you relevant information, and I hope this information is useful to you. And if you find this information useful, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any suggestions, if you want a video on a particular topic, please drop it in the comments and I'll be there with the video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.